Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Live, this is the Ramsey Show. It's where we help you win in your life, winning with your money, winning in your relationships, and winning at work. In other words, getting more income. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by the incomparable, the illustrious George Kamel, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm always impressed with your vocabulary, Ken, and your generosity.
It gives me a chance to really work on some new words, try to work in some old words. But we always love being together. It is a Friday, and I'll just tell you, I always have a little extra juice on a Friday, a little bit excited.
Ken lets his hair down. Usually his hair is on a little man bun, but today he has let it down.
I have grown it out, but man bun's never happening.
If you're not watching on YouTube, you're very confused. Like, Ken is a man bun guy? No.
I know that Kelly, by the way, Kelly Daniel, the producer of the Dr. John Deloney Show, is sitting in for James Childs all week, so she should give her some love.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you that Kelly and I have been working together for a long time, and she would rightfully punch me in the throat if I wore a man bun. Is that fair?
That's the kind of friend
I didn't want to
Kelly
misrepresent you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why we love her.
That's why we love her. All right, to the phones we go. By the way, we're taking your money calls, and we'll take your income calls. So I'm the work guy, and so I'll chime in on the money calls, and George will chime in. But I'm here to help you make more money. By the way, George, when you make more money, guess what happens?
You make more money?
No, you get through the baby steps faster.
I should have got there.
I thought that was low-hanging fruit for you.
Everything's pretty high when you're my height. So thank you for
true.
that.
And George is medicated today, so pray for George. I'm going to try to get his energy up. He's medicated today. He's not feeling well. So here we go. Are you
I'm
ready?
here for you, America.
You ready to take
Let's
a call?
go.
You got it? You
Yeah.
summoned the energy?
I got it.
All right. MJ starts us off in Baltimore, Maryland. MJ, how can we help?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
My husband and I have been retired for a few years. He will be 70 this year. I'm 68. We want to buy a motorhome for about $300,000, and we're not sure if that's the smart thing to do, especially at our age. So I'd like to run my financials by you and see what your thoughts are.
This is a fun game. Let's go, MJ. Roll it out for us.
Okay. So with our retirement, we make about $14,000 a month income. We own our own home. It's probably worth $800,000 or $900,000. We have a condo, probably worth $300,000 or $400,000. That's paid for. Brand new truck, brand new camper, brand new car. No debt whatsoever. So just our normal monthly bills. So we have $1.7 million, but it's in tax deferred accounts. And we probably have about $150,000 in non-tax deferred accounts. So my question is, do you think we can afford it? Would it be smart at our age? And how do we get the money out of that tax deferred without having to spend all the money in taxes?
I got questions, George, real quick. The motorhome is $300,000, huh? Brand new for this thing? Yeah.
Brand new. It's one of those big buses.
Yeah, and do you rent this condo?
No. We own it.
It's a second home?
No, I don't rent it out.
So life is good. You guys got one. You got the home, the condo. Now we need another gigantic home on wheels because life is just so fun and we need to get out there and travel some more. Is that what I'm hearing?
We're retired. We worked hard all our lives.
Hey, you're crushing it. No, listen, no judgment, MJ. You're crushing it. I mean, as you were laying out all your stats, I was like, hey, can George and I come visit? I mean, life is good for you guys.
Hit the road with MJ.
Way to go. Okay, all right.
Now, this retirement income, you guys are bringing in about $170,000. Is that consistent forever? Where is this coming from?
That's consistent forever. Yeah.
Is this like pension, Social Security? Where is this coming from?
It's pensions and Social Security.
So you don't even have to touch your actual nest egg?
No.
Well, we spend a lot of money traveling and eating out and that sort of thing.
So have you been tapping into your retirement accounts thus far?
We have. We've probably taken about $20,000 out a year for the last couple of years.
Okay, let me ask it this way, George. What's your burn rate? So I know you're bringing in $14,000 a month, but what are you spending per month?
Probably about at least 10.
10 to 15, if my math is correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Our parameters around this, you guys are obviously baby steps millionaires. You've done a great job. You have no debt. I love that you've cash flowed all of these toys, and you're right. Now is the time to enjoy it. The part that gives me pause is that you're buying a toy that is double your yearly income. And usually what we say around these toys, things with wheels and motors on them, which you got plenty of, is that you don't want it to add up to more than half of your annual income, because they go down in value. That $300,000 motorhome is going to be worth about $150,000 a few years from now.
Yeah.
So the question is, could you buy something cheaper? That way you don't feel the hit as much, even though you guys will be okay. I'm not really worried about you guys running out of money in retirement. If you're burning $20,000 a year, that money's going to grow at a faster rate than you can burn it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we have a fifth wheel motorhome actually that we could trade in and probably get about $50,000 for it.
What about this camper? Do you need the camper at that point if you have the motorhome?
No, that's what I said. We could get rid of
that's your fifth wheel.
Camper. Yeah, the fifth wheel, and get probably $50,000 for it. It's new.
I like to come at this. George is right on the money side, but I want to kind of pipe in here on the practicality side here.
Yeah.
I mean, at your age, at least your husband's age, you're younger. But I mean, what's that going to look like? Let's just say you went and bought this thing. How many weeks or months out of the year are you going to be driving around in this thing?
I'm not sure. I can tell you we've taken trips to Florida. We're on a 6-week trip right now out to Yellowstone. So,
what does it cost to rent one of these, MJ? Have you looked into that?
I don't know.
I got a better idea. If I'm your age, and again, maybe I'm lazy. I don't think I am.
I think we could
pretty
assume
hard. I just am gonna fly. At that age, I don't want to get behind the wheel of anything and drive anywhere. I mean,
Ken will have a chauffeur taking him around the country.
If I do it right, sure, I wouldn't mind a driver, but that's not my point. I just think this is not a smart decision for all the reasons George gave you, but I also just don't think it's very practical either. I mean, like, fly out to somewhere, rent. I wouldn't spend. Here's where I'm going. You called and asked, so I don't know why I'm beating around the bush. If I were your son, I would sit down with you guys and go, Mom and Dad, I think that's a total waste of money. You can spend a fraction of that flying in and out to these places, stay somewhere 6 weeks. To me, it's just the wrong allocation of funds. I don't think it affects your lifestyle of traveling, though. That's my whole point. I just think it's impractical, and it's just not smart.
I would go used if you're going to do it, but I'd rather you could spend $30,000 a year for 10 years to rent to go on these trips, and you would be a better bet.
Yeah.
So I would look into that and be more free and have more of your income at your disposal and not have $400,000 tied up in toys. That's one man's take.
No, I'm with you. I just don't think it's practical. And here I am trying to give vacation advice, too. I mean, that's not what she asked for, but I just... Yeah.
That's still a lot of your net worth and your life tied up in that thing going down in value. And that's the part that scares me.
All right, coming up next, George and I accidentally ran into each other at a premium event in Nashville last night, and it was funny. We'll tell you about it next. This is The Ramsey Show.
It doesn't take a degree in statistics to realize that this one stinks. 93% of undergraduate private student loans are co-signed. So when you're delinquent and drowning in private student loan debt, Mom or Dad or Uncle Joe is stuck in that financial stress along with you. But there is a way out. Why Refi? Why Refi offers a custom refinancing option with a fixed rate loan based on your ability to pay. And the average interest rate Why Refi offers is 3.9%, which can significantly reduce your monthly payment and decrease your total cost. Why Refi refinances your defaulted private student loans that other places won't touch. And I trust them. to help you get out of debt. So don't be another statistic in the student loan swamp. Contact YRefi at 844-2RAMSEY or go to yrefi.com/Ramsey. That's 844-2RAMSEY or the letter Y, then REFY.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me this hour taking your calls to help you win in life. 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. So quick story. It involves a haggle and a surprise. And that's always fun, you know? And so we'll start with a surprise.
I like it.
Yesterday afternoon, my wife, she told me yesterday morning, hey, we're doing a fun date. It's an overnight date. And I said, really? And I said,
on a school night?
Yeah, on a school night. Well, we have, no, the three teens are out of school and, you know.
Well, I mean that as in you got to work the next day.
Well, I wasn't sure. I didn't know if she cleared the decks for me or what, but it was just a quick overnight and it was downtown Nashville. So I said, oh, great. So I go home and she tells me where to go, the directions. I don't know where we ended up. And so we're downtown, a really, really great hotel that we love, one of our favorite places to have dinner. And I still don't know what the plan is. And as we're waiting to get our table, the maitre d' says, so you guys going to the Seinfeld concert? And I look at Stacy and I go, I don't know. And she's kind of doing this weird look. And then this couple right next to us goes, are you guys going to Seinfeld too? And I'm looking at Stacy and she goes, yes, he wasn't supposed to know. So that's how I found out.
Cat's out of the bag.
I
Way
didn't
to go,
even know.
Stacy.
I didn't know Seinfeld was in town. And
You're so aloof.
well, no, I don't pay attention to that stuff. So then I find, oh, that's great. So I show up and I see a couple of our coworkers there and they tell me, hey, George is coming. So I see you after the show and I find out that you used the haggle.
I did. So Jade razzed me on the show on Wednesday for this because she said, George, just go to the show, spend the money on these StubHub tickets and pay whatever it costs.
Which point in the story here, Stacy did that. She paid the stuff.
It just breaks my heart. My Middle Eastern ancestors are rolling in their grave for me paying, the premium on these tickets. So I didn't, Ken. What I did do, and you guys can use this out there, America, I searched all over the internet. I literally would search on Facebook and go Seinfeld, Nashville. And I found a few posts from random people that were selling tickets. And you have to vet these because there's a lot of scams out there. So be careful.
Yeah, and you might get killed.
That too. And I found a guy willing to sell them for face value. So I get a balcony nosebleed ticket for $86 for this event that would have cost $500 on StubHub. I then sold that ticket to my buddy because I found another guy who had better seats, but he was wanting $200 a piece. I went, listen, I love Seinfeld. Nothing is worth $200 a piece. For I'm gonna be counting down like every minute he goes. I'm like, this is $4 I just spent listening to this.
You need to enjoy life more. I would say that
my wife tells me the same thing, Ken.
I would tell you that the ticket is worth what someone is willing to pay for it. And you, just because you aren't willing to pay for it, you can't make blanket statements to America in your position of influence.
That's
like
true.
You're going to start throwing guilt around like it's candy.
Well, I think there's people out there like me, and there's people out there like you.
Yeah,
and that's
people
okay.
like me who enjoy life and you can't take it with you, and people like you bury money in your backyard in old coffee cans.
Well, here's the end of the story. So I go, listen, I can't do 200 ticket. Max I could do is 100 a ticket. He goes, I can't do that, but I'll do 120.
Did you come back and go, best I can do is $112?
It felt like I was on an episode of Pawn Stars.
Let me tell you something. If I'd have been there, I'd have apologized to the guy. And I would have paid the difference to get you to shut up and get inside.
I wore him down. It was last minute. I paid $120 for 11th row center. Those tickets on the ticket showed $200. So I felt real good about my situation.
But did you enjoy the concert?
I did because I paid what I thought was a fair price.
So it wouldn't have been as fun for you if you'd have paid full price for Jerry Seinfeld, a legend.
100% would not have been.
Did you laugh at all, you little miser, you?
I enjoyed it.
Did you laugh because you cut a good deal?
Did
you laugh because you haggled that guy into a bad deal, or did you laugh because Jerry's funny?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad deal. I didn't, rob him blind. He was willing. He had last minute tickets to get rid of.
I think you manipulated him. But I like the haggle.
I like that. Listen,
Well, America needs more haggle.
I feel like I won. So there's your
You did.
lesson, America. Haggle and also budget for spontaneous date nights, even after how many years married?
26.
That's how you keep it alive, guys and gals out there.
There it is. All right. So fun to see you, by the way. It was really
Great to
fun.
see you.
We compared notes. He did a lot of new material, about 20 minutes on marriage. That was really funny.
Great.
So,
He still got it at 70 years old.
the guy's 7 years old.
Talking about doing work you love. He doesn't have to be doing that.
By the way, I felt old, Kelly, when I walked in the line, because Kelly and I are the same age. I won't reveal that to honor and respect Kelly. But the people in the line were really old. And I said to
did
my
notice that.
Did you notice that?
I think I was
said
the
to
youngest
Stacy
person
Kelly,
there.
I was like, wow, I can't believe how many old people are in line. Then I was like, well, Jerry Seinfeld's 70.
Yeah, I thought I was accidentally in the line for Old Country Buffet. I went, am I at the right venue? Is there another thing going on?
It might have been a buffet line. It could have easily been confused as that.
I thought afterwards we're all going to get blue Jello at Luby's and call it a night. You know, just
Now look who's doing the Seinfeld lines.
Hey,
Way to go!
I'll be here all week.
All right, 888-825-5225. Enough about our boring social life. But that was an exciting night for me. Not an average Thursday
That was
night.
the most social thing I've done in a long time.
Yeah. Damari is joining us now in Jacksonville, Florida. Damari, how can we help?
Howdy. How y'all guys doing?
Well, we're having a blast. What's going on with you?
I'm pretty good. Actually, I'm at work now, but I wanted to ask. So I just started doing nursing, and I got out of school, and I was just wondering, what do you guys recommend doing first, last, or like I have no debt. I make around $55,000 a year. But I was just wondering, should I look at buying a house or renting a house, or should I get a car first, or should I go back to school before I do anything at all?
How old are you?
I'm 23.
And what do you mean by going back to school? Like, do you want to progress in nursing and become like a nurse practitioner?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So you're a young man, you're making your first real money. I want you to, first of all, make sure that your debts are paid off. Do you have any consumer debt right now?
No debt whatsoever.
No
Great.
debt.
You got money in the bank? Savings?
Not much, maybe a couple $1,000.
Okay, so that's your next goal. That would put you in baby step 3. So baby step 2, pay off all the debt. Baby step 3, save up 3 to 6 months of expenses. Once you do that, then you can let go off the gas a little bit and enjoy, make some upgrades, pay for a used car in cash, begin investing 15% into retirement. That's when the time is to make those types of upgrades. Right now, you're trying to build a foundation.
Yes, sir.
So I would
rent.
wait on a house.
So
Just rent for a while. Is it just you?
Okay, you recommend renting?
Yes.
Well, I have a girlfriend, but she's trying to figure out like what she wants to do as far as a career. So it's mainly me with the income, but I just was wondering if you guys recommend getting a house or renting, or
No.
when to get a car, like I said.
I would pause on that because you still need money to buy a house. You need a big down payment. You got to have the emergency fund. I want you investing. And so I think we pause on the dream of home ownership, and you're super young. If you do this 5 years from now, you're going to live to tell the tale.
What's the cost of the nurse practitioner, the next level of education? What's that going to cost you?
The schools that I'm looking at, there, I would definitely probably have to take out loans.
No.
Whoa. How about we just answer the question first? How much is it going to cost?
Anywhere between 15 and 20.
All right, so add the 15 to 20, George, into the process there that you just laid out for him, because we want you saving that up so that there is no debt. And by the way, single guy making 55, saving 15 to 20 is not going to take as long as you think. And boy, oh boy, is it going to feel good to not have to owe anything when you get out of nurse practitioning school. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's the goal, man.
So, Damari, get this in your head. Debt is not an option. If debt was not an option, what would you do? You would just go and save up 20 grand, and you do the math as to how much you need to save a month to get there, right?
Yes.
You
Yes,
can
sir.
cash flow this. You're a bright dude with no debt. So your income is now at your disposal. Making 55, you can save 10 or 15 in a year.
Yes, sir.
So once you have an emergency fund, you have the money to do this program debt-free, that's the time to do it. And then home ownership will come down the line.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You don't seem excited about it, but I'm going to tell you something. You'll be excited if you do what we tell you to do, because on the backside of this is freedom to live the life you want to live. Hey, I want to do this for you, Damari. Let's give him the Get Clear assessment and the book Find the Work You're Wired to Do for his girlfriend. Let's see if we can get girlfriend some clarity going forward, get her rocking and rolling, then put a ring on it, Damari. And let's get some double income going in there and keep rolling with the plan.
Then we can work on that house together.
There we go. We can save up a down payment really nicely once she's rocking and rolling. All right, folks, don't move. He's George Kamel. I'm Ken Coleman, and you're listening to The Ramsey Show. Be right back.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruz here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And Step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel is with me. I almost said Clooney.
That would have been very kind of you.
I don't know why that happened.
I would have taken Foreman, Lopez, Costanza, Washington, but thank you for choosing Clooney.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. I just went, and I was like, what is happening here? Hey, listen, you know what today is, George? Today's a big day. Do you know what today is?
It's May 31st by my count.
That's right, but it's also the last day for the big 20% off discount at RamseySolutions.com, the big store, right? Oh, my goodness. You got number one bestsellers like Baby Step Millionaires for under $16. Let's not forget my book, because my kids need food, From Paycheck to Purpose, under $16. I've got a kid going to college, so, think of me when you go to the store.
Think of Ken.
Think of me, just do me a little favor there. You know what I mean? Daddy needs a new pair of shoes too.
Gosh.
I'm groveling.
I got to fund Mia's 529 still, Ken.
Let's jump in here. George's, your book's not, because it's brand
new. We're we can't discount this yet.
All right.
But
Next year, you get to look forward to May that your book will be on a steep discount.
I can't wait. It'll be $4.
There he is. It really is. So, hey, the point is really great deals. And we know one thing. You people that listen and watch. That's right. And you people in the lobby. Boy, we got a great looking group of people out there.
I feel like when you say you people, it's a little bit demeaning, but these are wonderful, sweet people.
Well, there's nothing demeaning about the people. I am a man of the people.
But when you say you people, it's got a tone.
Oh, you people like a good deal. Is there anything wrong with that tone? Nobody's offended at all in the lobby, George. So the point is, we know you like a good deal. You know I love a good deal. And so now is the time. The sale ends tonight. May 31st. If you're listening, watching a little bit later in the day, you got to be looking at the old clock there, 11:59.
When midnight strikes, Ken turns into a pumpkin, and the sale is over.
And the sale is over. So go check it out, RamseySolutions.com/store, RamseySolutions.com/store. Lyra is going to join us in Cleveland, Ohio. Lyra, how can we help?
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You bet.
So me and my husband, we're on baby step 2. We're trying to pay down our debts and hopefully get into a new house in the next year or two. Mm-hmm. But we kind of run into a bit of trouble. We both have our primary jobs, and we've been trying to each take on a second job. But our first jobs are both giving us some trouble. I work in healthcare, and it's kind of called moonlighting. It's a big, they really frown on it. They don't want me to work a second job, but I've got debt to pay down, and my husband is working real estate on the side, and when he's on his lunch break taking real estate calls, his boss is in the corner of the cafeteria stalking him.
Golly.
Wow, we've got a very interesting situation. So I think there's no conflict of interest in either one of these side hustles, yes or no? Is there some sort of real, true conflict?
No. I guess my question is, how can I approach or work with employers? Like, do you have any advice for employers?
I have one. I do, but I have one more question. And then, George, if you need to fact find here. So you're a nurse.
Actually, I work in medical coding.
Okay, great. I'm sorry. I was jumping ahead. So you're in medical coding, and what are you doing for the side hustle?
A second coding position, but just a different shift.
For another company?
Yep.
I love that you're giggling like you're getting away with something. I'll address that in a second. This is so funny. Okay, and your husband does what? What is his job?
He works in IT.
And
he
he's
takes
selling
phone-
and he's selling real estate in the morning early, at lunch, on his lunch break, and then after hours.
Oh, yeah, because he works 9 to 5, and most people do too, so.
Okay, so here's the deal. You guys just have, it feels like maybe some unhealthy leaders, but you guys just need to shut your mouth. I feel like you're talking too much or being a little too obvious. I wouldn't be doing real estate calls in the cafeteria first of all, you're not doing anything wrong. It's his lunch hour.
Yeah.
So let's just be clear. You're not doing anything wrong, so I don't want the audience to think, oh, Ken's giving somebody advice on how to sneak around. No, but let's also have some common sense. And if the boss is stalking him and doesn't like the fact that he's got another job, first of all, it's on his lunch hour. So if I'm hearing the truth and we're not stealing from the company, then go out in the car, turn the air conditioning on, or go drive somewhere and sit in the parking lot of Chick-fil-A, for crying out loud, or whoever, and make your calls. So it's nobody's business. So stop talking about it and go do it. You have the right to work as many jobs as you want to. Now, there's a thing going on, George, in America today where people are working 2 full-time jobs. I call that professional polygamy. That's not okay. All right? But that's not what we're talking about, Lyra. Am I right?
Yeah, just part-time.
Well, the point is just go, this isn't affecting my job at all. And just make it a non-issue. Stop talking about it.
They don't have to like it.
They don't have to like it.
You're not breaking any, moral codes. You didn't sign a contract saying that you couldn't do this. So unless you're actually violating a company policy, it's really none of their business.
Okay, so just be quiet about it.
Just move forward with confidence. Yeah, I don't know what my coworkers are doing at lunch. Some of them do side hustles. They're doing some video editing or designing something or doing real estate. I mean,
right.
And we're all okay with that as long as you're not infringing on the normal work hours. It's not unless your work is, hurting because of it. That's when a leader would get involved and say, "Hey, listen, you're not performing your KRA very well. What's going on?"
Yeah, but this is not happening, right, Lyra? We've got all the facts.
Yeah, we're not stealing from company time.
Yeah, you know what? Here's what I've learned, and I learned this the hard way. Some people can get real catty. They can get real nasty when somebody's trying to make their own life better and their life sucks. And it feels like you've probably just been normal and kind of shared what you're doing. And then other people are like, did you know what Lyra's doing? She's working another medical coding job while they're smoking cigs on the back dock. Am I right? Okay, then. So what we do is we don't hang around vultures. And it sounds like you got some vultures in there. And all vultures do is fly around looking for some dead carcass to pick to death. And they're just nasty people. And I think you got some nastiness around you. And so what you're doing to remove the debt from your life is awesome. It's going to make your life better. I'd start hanging around better people. And if your coworkers are like that, this is a message for everybody listening and watching today. Stop talking to people that are negative and nasty and backbiting. Just ignore them. Just ignore them altogether. If they've got a problem with you working a second or third job to get out of debt, that's a sign that you shouldn't be talking to them anyway because they're losers. And I'm just being honest today. There are winners, George, in life, and there are losers.
You looked at me directly when you said the loser part. I just wanted to call that out. I'm kidding. But the other piece of this, Lyra, of the financial aspect is I think you guys might be doing some things out of order. You're saying, I'm trying to save for a house. Really, you need to knock out the debts first, then get a fully funded emergency fund. Then you can begin the process of saving up for that down payment. And I love the intensity that you have to do that, but we just need to make sure we have our ducks in a row here before we try to do 7 things at once and do them poorly.
Yeah. I want to go back into something, George, because I don't want to miss the psychology that is so powerful from the people that we spend a lot of time with. And the audience in this show is trying to do something radically different, right?
It's weird, and weirdness tends to get a lot of
comments.
flashback.
So even on your own journey, I mean, I just want your take here. What's the key? What's the mindset key when you're trying to take on a journey like this? You're like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just getting a second job, and my boss is stalking me?
Yeah, I mean, I did many side hustles when I was trying to get out of debt or save for a house, whatever it was, while I was at Ramsey. And I would go home, and I'd just get to work, and I'd shut up. I didn't need to talk to the coworkers about it. If they were, if it were a friend, I'd tell them. But there's another great resource, Ken. I just uploaded a video today on 20 side hustles, and I rank them with an S tier. So A through F, S is the best for some reason. So go check that out on my YouTube channel, George Kamel on YouTube.
George Kamel on YouTube, 20 best side hustles.
If you're looking for, and I rank them, I tell you how much you can make, the pros, the cons, who this might make sense for.
Oh, boy.
So go check that out if you're inquisitive.
Yeah,
you want to make some more money.
Come on, let's go. I love that. Go check it out. All right, quick break. Speaking of money, we got to make some money. We'll be right back to help you make some more money. This is The Ramsey Show.
Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to churchillmortgage.com to get started.
The Ramsey Show continues on. Thrilled that you're with us. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. We're here to answer your questions about your money, your income, what's going on in the world of work so you can make more money, and then your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the number. Let's go to Rochester, New York. Kaylee is joining us there. Kaylee, how can we help?
Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. What's going on?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm calling because I have a dilemma. My coworker accidentally backed into my car earlier this week, and she's wanting to not go through insurance and just pay out of pocket so that she doesn't have to have her rates go up. But I'm feeling nervous about that, and I just kind of wanted to talk it out.
Mm-hmm. How well do you know this coworker?
Pretty well. Like, I've been to her house, and I know a bit of her financial situation, too, so that's like a layer as well.
Do you guys like each other?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like her.
Okay. There's a reason I got an angle, George, but I'm going to let you walk through this financially.
Let's do some fact-finding. How bad is the damage?
So I got 3 different quotes, and they ranged from $1,500 to $3,600.
Whoa, this is a pretty serious situation.
She was in a hurry, huh?
This is not a dent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big dent, yeah.
Okay. So let's put it on the high end. Let's say it's $3,600. She's saying, I'd rather pay you the $3,600 than go through insurance. Does she have the money to pay for it up front?
No. Yeah, so no. So when I came back with those amounts that I got for myself, she said, wow, are they trying to repair the whole car? And I was like, no, it's just for the dent. And then she said, I found someone who would do it for less than
No, I'm not going to let Uncle Ricky Bobby handle this. We're going to go through a professional route.
Yeah, she doesn't get to choose the person.
And she doesn't even have the money to cover the repair.
Well, yeah, so that's like one of the dilemmas is like, because I do know her, I know her financial situation. She's a single mom, and there's just a lot of complex things going on in her life, again, because I know her. But I worry that, like, if I did let her go and pay me on the side, like, what if I have to, like, kind of counter for the money or something like that, you know?
Yeah, well, that's not an option.
You
In
trying
other
to be
words.
nice is going to rain drama on your life.
Yeah.
And that is not worth it for you. Don't take on that burden because you want to be a sweet person, which I can tell that you are, because you're calling in, you're toiling over this dilemma. And I just think the long-term implications of what this could be and how it's going to hurt the relationship is going to be worse if you let her go through this weird process.
Weird question, George. Or maybe it's not a weird question. Do you have an opinion here or some actual knowledge on if this coworker actually filed with her insurance and said, I backed into my coworker here? It feels like whatever bump in insurance could be less if she has a good driving record. I just wonder if it's...
That's
she
a factor.
doesn't. Oh, no. Because you know what I was thinking?
So she told me... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Kaylee, what I was wondering is it going to be less money out of pocket for her if even with the insurance hit than paying you?
Let's say it's $3,600. Well, let's say the bump was $200. Now that's ongoing for a while until her insurance bumps back down after a clean driving record. But I don't think her terrible driving record has anything to do with you. You're just
not your fault.
Yeah, you've got to protect yourself in the situation, and I don't think that makes you a worse person.
And she doesn't have the money.
Yeah,
So that puts you in
so
you understand, that puts you in a collection situation.
$350. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Her premium's $350 a month.
Already.
$4,000 a year for one car.
Yeah. Oof. She's also nervous, too, because she has a side job, too, and she has to drive for it, and she's worried that, like, if she has another mark on her record, that she might lose that side job. There's just, like, a lot of layers here, obviously.
Yes, I understand it's complicated, and this is going to affect her life in some way. I still would file a claim through your insurance because it's going to be really tough to get insurance involved later, and all you have at this point is her word that she'll pay, and we don't even know that she'll pay because she's going to say, well, since this guy can do it for $300, I'm only going to pay you $300. And it's on you if you want to go get it done somewhere else. I'm not okay with that. Either way, this relationship is going to be strained from here on out.
Yeah.
But I'd rather you not take on the drama just to be a sweet person.
Well, thank you very much. That's kind of where my husband and I had landed too.
Yeah,
but
it stinks. I mean, I hate that. But my goodness, what I don't understand is why her side job would be in danger. I don't get that part.
Well, maybe there's a insurance. Your driving record affects these side jobs, and if you have a certain number of dings, you can't, drive for Uber. I don't know how the back end works for that.
I see the drive. Okay, I got you.
But
all right. Well, tough situation.
It's kind of like if someone committed a crime for the 5th time, and now like, hey, they could have probation because of this. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
They backed into you. I want you to protect your finances, and she will survive this. She survived it already with her terrible driving record.
Yeah.
So hopefully she has learned a lesson.
Yeah.
Drive safe out there. If I ever back into Ken's car, it's going to be a situation.
I promise you. I will drive to your insurance agent myself with the pictures. I'm not even leaving it up to you, Mr. Cheapskate, because you're the guy that's going to go try to get Uncle Larry Bobby.
Watch your
America
words.
heard how you haggled the poor guy last night for a Seinfeld
That's
ticket.
called resourcefulness, Ken.
I can't imagine what you do to a body shop guy. I mean...
I rarely have darkened the doors of a body shop. Rarely. Although I do park next to Dave Ramsey, which frightens me.
Well, because his giant truck could roll right over your little electric Hot Wheels car.
And as great of a driver Dave is,
he wouldn't even know it.
He doesn't always park in the lines. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to be honest with you. America needs to know this. I have ridden in Dave's truck many times. I'm not going to say that he's a good driver.
I had to get a ladder to climb into that thing.
Is Dave fast? He's fast. Good?
It's hard to have good and fast.
Yeah, you got to choose one or the other, and Dave likes to get from point A to B quickly. That's all I'm going to say. Glad for the really nice restraining system that they call seat belts. It can get a little hairy in there sometimes. George, can we get to Kimberly real quick? Let's go to Kimberly in Knoxville, Tennessee. Kimberly, how can we help?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. I will start out by saying that we are a large family. My husband and I, we have 9 children. Oof. And about a year ago, we moved from Michigan. We sold our home and property there, and we moved to the Knoxville area. We have been renting a home for our size family. It's $3,000 a month. It's just for a basic home, nothing fancy. And our lease is up in the end of August. Our church offered us this financial freedom. We started about 5 weeks ago, and we are 100% in. In the last 4 weeks, we've liquidated everything we could, and we've paid off a little over $40,000 worth of debt. We have about $19,000 left, and we will have that paid off in December, January at the absolute latest. And the other thing that you might need to know is that we are expecting a settlement from a car accident by the end of the year, early next year, that is going to be between $75,000 and $120,000. So our question is, because our lease is up in August, we are looking to either buy a property and build a home or to purchase a home that's already built. And I know, based on just listening to the show, that generally his advice is to save up the 3 to 6 months savings, and then to save up for the 20% down. I guess I'm asking because in our situation with a large family, with rent being so expensive, we do have a good income, and that
what is your income?
To be debt free, we make $150, between $150 and $170.
Okay. So the question is, once the lease is up, can you go ahead and get the house, or do we need to wait?
Yes, and the reason I'm asking is because we do qualify for a rural development loan on the land that we would be looking at, which is 1% down.
No,
so
that's not a blessing in your life. Taking on 99% as a mortgage is not a blessing in anyone's life. So here's what you should do.
Even if we still did a 15-year mortgage on that?
Don't fall for any of these programs. Go slow. I would just buy an existing home, because you're going to have this massive project with 9 kids while trying to pay rent that you're trying to cash flow. Whew. So I would just buy an existing home. And if that means you got to rent this place for another year at $3,000, that's okay. You guys are making $14,000 a month. Mm-hmm. So it stinks to pay this high rent. It's probably going to turn into $3,000 in a mortgage anyways on a 15-year with the rates. So I wouldn't worry about that. Get the debt paid off, get the emergency fund, then save up the down payment, buy the house a year and a half from now. You'll be all right.
Yes. Be patient. It's so hard. But you got 9 kids. Whew. You got to have patience figured out by now, I would think. Holy moly. So summon some of that.
It's got to be a bunk bed situation going on there.
I'm exhausted just thinking of 9 kids. This is the Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Coming to you live, talking to you about your life, your money, your work, and your relationships. This is the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, and George Kamel joins me. We are here for you, America. 888-825-5225. It's all about you, and we want you winning in all those areas. George is the resident money guru today, and they call me the work guy here, but this is all about money too.
I just call him Mr. Coleman.
If you want to make more money, you want to get a little bit better income, become wealthy, think like wealthy people, act like wealthy people, I'm your guy. So if you got a question, you're feeling stuck in your work or your profession, we'll take those calls today as well. 888-825-5225. Romeo, where art thou? Romeo, Michigan is on the board. Jeff is there. Jeff, how can we help?
Tis, I am here. Thank you for having me today.
What doth thou want to know?
Well, guys, I've got some questions regarding a couple of things, but to start out with, defined benefit plans. I'm self-employed. My net income is between $300,000 and $500,000 annually. I have one employee on the books, including myself. And I'm at a point here to where I've got financial advisors that I've worked with that I've just lost trust in. I'm getting all these different offerings to me. I've got a large sum of money that I need to figure out where to invest. It's sitting in a savings account at this time.
How much money are we talking?
I've got about $1.5 million in a savings account. I've got about 500 in traditional investments. And the big thing is, I guess, is, what do I do with that? And what are your thoughts on defined benefit plans for that $300K to $500K tax savings? It's pretty heavy.
How many people are involved in this business?
Just myself. I'm a sole owner.
Okay. Have you looked into other retirement plans like a SEP, solo 401k?
I have, yes. I think where I get caught up with that slightly, not that I'm caught up with that, but the ability for me to put $200K into a defined benefit as opposed to $68,000 with the 401K, front loading that defined benefit to get that in there sooner than later. I'm 47, so I feel like while I do have a good chunk of change there in terms of retirement investments, I'm a bit behind on that.
Well, you always have, a taxable brokerage account. If you run out of retirement options, that's going to allow you to build wealth and keep that money flexible. What is your money making the 1.5 in savings right now? What's the interest rate on that?
5.5%, surprisingly.
Okay.
Wow, that's
Good.
nice.
So that's creating a chunk of change and keeping your money safe. Outside of how much you actually need liquid, I would rather invest it and over the long term see that grow at 8, 9, 10, 11%.
Right.
So have you worked, you said you didn't like the financial advisors you worked with. Have you interviewed more? Have you talked to a SmartVestor Pro? Jumped on RamseySolutions.com?
Yeah, I have. Well, actually, I'm in the process of that now. So I've got a couple of them that I'm speaking with. So I did take that step into that suggestion as well.
Good. And do you have a good tax pro you work with?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Between those two, I would kind of take the tax pro advice, the SmartVestor Pro advice, and then you'll have a much better picture of what the future should look like. And I wouldn't just do things for the tax savings. I want you to have a bigger picture of what your life's going to look like. You make amazing money. You already are a multimillionaire. And so I think part of this is figuring out the goal. What are we doing with this? What's the why? What's the legacy I'm trying to leave? That will help you create more specific goals than just, I want to grow money.
Right, sure.
Do you have a family?
I do not.
Okay, so solo, single, no kids?
No kids.
Okay. And you want to keep this business a solo business?
I do, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what you do exactly? I'm curious for those out there going, how is this guy making $500,000 solo?
Because he's solo, that's why. Guy's got nothing else distracted him.
Yes, exactly.
No wife, no kids, maybe no life. It's possible. Sounds like you may not have much of a life.
No, there's a lot of time spent building this business. Basically, 15 years ago or so ago, there was a lack of product in the hunting industry that I was interested in. So I went ahead, went direct and started some digging overseas for manufacturing, started a couple of brands and kind of roller coasted snowballed those brands into something big at this point in this industry.
Way to go.
In the hunting equipment industry?
Yes, correct.
Oh, all right.
Very impressive.
Wow.
Well, that's what I would do. I think the solo 401k is one of the best options out there for those that are self-employed. But again, depending on your situation, how much money you're making, what your goals are, there's a lot of options out there. And that's where I would sit down with one of those SmartVestor Pros and just lay it all out and say, what's the benefit of going with this defined benefit plan? What's the benefit of this solo 401k? What should I be doing with these bunches of money? And that's going to give you a better plan than just sort of winging it, which you can wing it and still do well because you have been doing that and you're a very smart guy. But I love your line of questioning. It makes me think you're going to be okay because you're asking the right questions.
Did you guys cover what's the income? Did I miss that?
300 to 500.
Wow.
Net 3 to 500. Correct.
When you're not working, are you spending a lot of time alone in a field trying to shoot something?
No, I actually, that's the reason I got into it, and believe it or not, I don't have the time to do that at all anymore. And
how much are you working?
It's the last thing. It's more of a season. I call my schedule a school teacher schedule because I've got 6 months where we're just completely swamped, and the other half it's kind of catch up, develop new products. So I would say an average. I deal a lot with overseas, so our time difference is big. So while I'm in my shop for 8 hours a day, maybe, I'm dealing overseas in the middle of the night for 2-3 hours here and there. So
wow.
I would say an average work week of 50 to 60 hours.
Okay. You may want to eventually look at, some delegation, maybe hiring a team member or two to help offload some
you
of this.
think? Jeff,
It sounds like you're taking on a lot.
Jeff, I may overstep with you, but I hope you understand my heart. George has helped with all the money stuff. I got to tell you something. I'm a little concerned that you wake up 30 years from now and you're full of regret because you had nothing else going in your life except this work. And I'm a guy who believes in doing what you love, and I think work is purposeful, and I think that we get great enjoyment and contribution out of it. But I'm just encouraging you, not challenging you. I'm not trying to criticize you. But, man, you're working really, really hard. You're 47, and 10 years is going to go like that. And, man, I'd want you to enjoy something. So delegate a little bit, and when you're 3 months off or it's a slower time, figure out how to reproduce yourself a little bit and have some fun, man. Yeah, no, I agree with you 1,000%. I've been telling myself that I'm going to do that for years now, and I feel like I'm at a point to where I'm realizing that I do need to do those things because I am getting old.
But
I think can I tell you something? I'm going to really recommend you sit with a really good therapist because I don't think your life's on fire. But I think you need to get to the source of the control. The reason you are running the business the way you are is because you're absolutely terrified of letting go. There's some massive control, massive fear issues underneath all of this. That's just what I'm hearing and seeing, and I think that might free you up, man. So, gee whiz, go on a safari somewhere and get a massage before you go hunting. Like, enjoy life a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, just relax a little bit and enjoy the spoils because you're crushing it. Or else you wake up one day and you're going, I got a bunch of money, but I didn't do anything with it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, here's a quick math refresher. There are only 24 hours in a day. So you and your team need to streamline time-consuming tasks to focus on the activities that actually make money. Smart businesses are realizing that to reduce headaches as they scale, they need NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one platform. With NetSuite, you reduce IT costs because NetSuite is cloud-based. You cut the cost of maintaining multiple systems because you've got one source of truth. And you improve efficiency by bringing all your major business processes into one platform, slashing manual tasks and errors. So join the 37,000 plus companies, including Ramsey Solutions, that have done the math and are boosting their efficiency with NetSuite. And right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist designed to drive the right behaviors for your business absolutely free at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey to get your free KPI checklist.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me, and we are here for you. 888-825-5225. George taking your money questions, and I'm here to help you with your income, professional work questions so that you can actually get to those baby steps faster. Speaking of questions, George, today's question of the day comes from Tyler in South Dakota. He asked, I'm getting a 15-year mortgage and plan on paying it off within 7 to 10 years. Does it matter how frequently I pay extra toward the principal? Should I do an extra payment once a month, or is there a better system for making this happen? Boy, this is custom made for you, George.
It is, and I just got to call out as someone with a slight OCD that it's principal PAL in the question.
Oh boy, you see,
it's not a principle.
It's
like
not like
a
the
value.
the proximity principle, my number one best-selling book that you can get at RamseySolutions.com.
That's neither here nor there.
Okay, so how I did that there? I see. I just
wove it in. He's a master of self-promotion.
Nobody even knew it hit him.
So does it matter how frequently you pay toward the principal of a mortgage? Yes, it does. Should I do an extra payment once a month, or is there a better system for making this happen? The faster you make the payment, the less interest you're going to pay. That's how it works. So I would not wait and do a lump sum at the end of the year. The faster you can add to that principal, the better. The way I did this was just added every single month. So if the principal is $2,000, you want to put $2,500 instead, or $3,000, or even better, try to double the mortgage payment. So set a goal for yourself and try to stick to it aggressively.
Yeah.
And 7 to 10 years is great. We found that the average baby step millionaire pays off their house in 7 years, Ken, which is very encouraging. And it's part of the reason I love a 15-year mortgage. It forces you in this forced savings plan to go, we're paying this off worst case in 15 years, but more likely, if you do it the right way, you're going to have margin to put extra on there. So the faster you make that payment, the better. And how frequently, it doesn't matter if you do it 3 times a month or once a month. The easiest way with your lender and for your life is just to add it on your regular payment. So if you pay your mortgage on the first, put an extra $500 or $1,000. Make sure it goes toward the principal, not interest or anything else, or a future month.
Yeah, love that.
Hope that helps.
Hey, I've got a quick question for you. I'm going to make up a question here, but it's based on a real life scenario.
Okay.
Okay. What would you say for someone who's debt free and they want to make a very large purchase on a second home? They're debt free though. Okay.
Yep.
And they don't need the second home. It's just a pure.
It's a toy.
It's a toy. But they're very wealthy. Is there a percentage of net worth that you feel comfortable with on a second home when you have zero debt at all? Did I ask the question properly?
Yeah, I think that's proper. I don't know that we have any Ramsey parameters I've heard of.
I don't think so either.
But let's
so I was asking you to make one up.
I think the numbers would matter to me. So let's say you've got a net worth of $1.5 million between your house, your nest egg, and you want to buy a second home that's worth what? $300,000?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
$400,000?
That's what I'm asking you. What would be the percentage on someone's net worth that say, you know what, this is okay, because first of all, you're debt free. But to take on a second home.
And this house will go up in value over time.
Yeah,
it's still a toy, but it's not a depreciating asset.
It's another house. Is there a percentage you might, for instance, 10% of your net worth?
I would say emotionally,
20%?
With your home and a second home, I wouldn't want your net worth to be too real estate toppled, which Dave's is because he has an extraordinary amount in real estate, $600 million.
Yeah.
He's never going to catch up on the investment side. But again, as a portion of his net worth, his second homes are a teeny tiny percentage.
Right. I'm saying I'm not holding you to this. This is not a new Ramsey.
I would say a second home, 10 or 20% of your net worth feels right.
That's what I thought.
If it's 50% of your net worth tied up in that toy second home, that feels like too much.
Thought. Okay, good. I'm very happy about this because I have a friend who had a really cool situation.
Did they get a second home?
They got a great second home.
Are you going to get to enjoy the second home as well? It sounds like you have benefit in this.
I do, and you do too.
Are you serious? Are you surprising me?
I'm surprising you. Because I
don't have many friends.
I had a friend.
Let alone wealthy friends.
I have a very wealthy friend who I called the other day. And I called to talk to him about pickleball. He thought I was calling about a decision that he had told several of our mutual friends about. And I had no knowledge of it. And this friend asked me my advice. And I said, I'm going to treat this just like I would if I took a call on the Ramsey Show. And it was buying a very valuable home that is very important to him. And he was asking me, what should he do? He has zero debt and he's very wealthy. And I'm not going to get into the numbers, but this is a very public story. And I told him I'm going to say it because he called me this morning and I coached him and his wife through this purchase. I said, follow your heart. They did. And I'm proud to tell you, George, that my friend bought the Home Alone house in Chicago.
No way.
Look at the audience out there. Very good friend of mine.
I got to tell you, I thought this story was not going to have a great punchline, but you didn't oversell it.
I did not. They took his offer.
Wow. What was it? I think that was running. It was very public, like $5 million.
I'm going to stay out of it.
Illinois.
It's very, very public. But my friend is the new owner
and you're telling me I can go visit, because I don't know this friend, but you're saying I could go with you?
You are a friend of Ken.
And a friend of Ken is a friend of
this guy.
All right.
And
road trip to Winnetka, Illinois.
let me tell you what I think might happen. A very special Christmas edition of the Ken Coleman Show might be filmed in
live from the
said
Home Alone house.
I'm not even kidding. You think I'm joking. We've already discussed it.
And he's cool with it.
Yeah, I was involved. He said this doesn't happen without your coaching. So I did a little retro because I played that percentage. I was like, if it's that small of a percentage of your net worth and it was in your range.
Yeah, the general theory is if you lost that money, would you be okay?
But he's got no risk on this house. If he holds it and they have family Christmases there for 2 or 3 years and make unbelievable memories and he flips it, it's a non-factor.
I would film my own version of Home Alone.
Yeah.
I'd hire a camera crew, script writers, the whole bit.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will do a Chicago road trip and we'll go do something.
I cannot wait.
Maybe some social media. I could see you doing something really fun around the staircase.
Well, you know what's funny is we actually did a Home Alone spoof for a Ramsey Christmas party.
I know.
Where I was Home Alone in Dave Ramsey's house, the one that he sold
you know
up
what?
on the hill.
You should ask for permission. Of course, this is a no-brainer, and put that on your YouTube channel.
I'm wondering if it's safe for public consumption.
Of course it's safe. Dave doesn't even live in that house anymore.
Yeah, but I was in a bathrobe, Ken. There's certain things you don't want on the
But I
internet,
saw the
you know?
video, and there wasn't too much skin. It was very modest.
It was a fun video. Me opening Dave's fridge, looking for food, hanging out in the pool.
Yeah.
You know, it was a great time.
Yeah.
It was a selfish play for me to make that video.
Yeah. I've never been so excited to tell millions of people about a friend of mine buying a house than I just was. But how cool is that? I'm very excited about it. So
you have proximity principled your way into a lot of amazing situations, I got to say.
You know, in all honesty, the reason I wrote that book is because I have figured out how
You've
to
lived
do
it.
that. Yeah. But that's a total, there was no intention there. We just met over pickleball. And by the way,
is pickleball the new, like we met on the golf course, we talked shop?
Yeah, it is.
Now it's pickleball.
Yeah, it is. All right, now let me turn this into some real content. All right, so we did talk about the net. That was good. We had two money questions.
Yeah.
And then a fun surprise.
We'll run it by Dave next time he's around to see what he thinks.
But I do want to talk very briefly here about this kind of thing. So I read an article years ago, and I want our audience to catch this. As you're walking through the baby steps, one of the great benefits of getting debt-free is that you can then move into places that maybe previously you could not afford. And here's what we know from the data, that if you live, the nicer the neighborhood you live in, the greater success chances your kids have. And the reason is because birds of a feather flock together, if we use that old phrase, and wealthy, successful people kind of in the same area and relationships happen to where you can go play pickleball like I did one night in my neighborhood with this guy. And you meet this guy and he's one of the first executives at Facebook, Spotify. This dude never has to work a day in his life. He's brilliant marketer. And you get to know somebody, then you go to coffee. My point is, back to the proximity thing, getting control of your finances and having freedom and not living paycheck to paycheck and trying to keep up with the Joneses. If you get free, guess what? You can actually hang out with the Joneses. You see the difference instead of keeping up with them versus hanging out with them? And when you're hanging out with successful people, great things happen to you because they're doing great things. And they go, hey, you want to do this? And so just a fun little
your
story.
environment matters. The people around you matter.
That's it. Harvard's done the longest study on relationships in the world. 80-year study, and here's what they found. 95% of your success or failure is directly related to the people you spend the most time with.
Oh, that's why I hang out with Ken.
That's exactly right. And look how your life has gotten better.
I get to go to the Home Alone house.
Yes, you do. It's going to be fun. All right, we'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
You've been gazelle intense, you've eaten more beans and rice than you knew existed, and now you're ready to make your biggest investment better. Blinds.com is a great way to dress up a room or your entire home. Whether you're comfortable with do-it-yourself projects or you don't even know what a Phillips head screwdriver is, well, trust Blinds.com to take care of you like Ramsey would. You can do the measuring and installation yourself, or you can let Blinds.com's professionals handle everything for you. Blinds.com offers a completely hassle-free experience. Count on them to deliver stylish window treatments from premium brands without the premium markup. You'll never have to deal with pushy salespeople vehicle in your home just to get a quote. But you can count on free shipping, free samples, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee so that you can rest easy. That's why we've recommended Blinds.com for over 10 years. Get 40% off site-wide for a limited time at Blinds.com. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225. That's the phone number to jump in, 888-825-5225. Ken Coleman, George Kamel with you. Let's go to Ryan in Vancouver, Canada. Ryan, how can we help today?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. It's been a tricky last couple months, so I appreciate the advice. Just to get right into it, a couple months ago, I lost my my job, was terminated. There was a question about the actual validity of it, and I've been given very little information, actually no information about the actual concerns around it. And then a couple of weeks later, I lost my fiance, and now I'm kind of starting the job hunt and just trying to get by in one of the most expensive cities in the world. So in the meantime, I have racked up some debts and some personal loans that just comes with cost of living. The good news is I have about $20,000 in my RRSPs, or of course in America, like 401k kind of equivalent. So I guess part of my question is, should I liquidate part of that? I could likely use all of it to get debt free and then essentially start that process again when I find my new position. And then my second question is the actual litigation around the termination. I stand to make not earth-shattering amounts of money, and I'm worried that pursuing it further would, of course, accrue more legal bills, and that process might just be tricky for me to navigate as well.
You want to take the investment piece first?
Yeah.
I'd like to come back to
just want to say,
litigation.
Ryan, I'm sorry for everything you went through. Your fiance passed away?
No, sorry. We separated.
Oh, goodness. I was
okay.
like,
Me too, because you said you lost your fiance, and I was like, oh, boy.
Okay. I feel a little better. It's still a heartbreaking situation.
Did she dump you?
Fairly mutual. There was definitely a lot of added stress with unemployment and bills racking up, and we went our separate ways.
All right.
Okay, so how much debt do you have total?
Total probably about $20,000, and it's almost exactly what I have in those investments as well.
Well, the investments are retirement, and I don't know what the laws are in Canada, the penalties, but I imagine this is not. You're going to get hit badly taking out this $20K. I don't think this is worth it.
The laws that I've found are it actually wouldn't be as bad as you think for a one-time taking it out. And my thought was to clear up the debt using that.
Well, no, it's bad, Ryan, because you plug that into an investment calculator, and what that money would have turned into 20, 30 years from now, it's not worth taking it out. I'd rather you use your future income to knock out this debt than rob your future.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't touch this. Let's pretend this money's off limits. What other money do you have access to, or things you could liquidate?
Obviously, I have no income at the moment. I am able to get some personal loans when needed.
No, we're not going into any more debt. Can you promise me that?
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, Ryan is not going into a penny more of debt. Okay. Once that's settled, we're going to get you income really fast. Ken's going to help with that, even if that means temporary income through side hustles. What were you doing before, and what were you making?
I was general manager in the hospitality industry, and I was making 85 to 90.
Okay. So let's pretend you go back to that. You can pay off $20K pretty quickly making 90.
Mm-hmm.
What's your living situation? Are you paying rent right now?
I'm paying rent. My rent is $3,200 a month, and then after all my other expenses, it's close to $4,000 a month in general month-to-month expenses.
Goodness.
How long have you been unemployed?
2 months.
Is this this case, is it in any way affecting your ability to get back into the hospitality industry?
It likely is due to the nature of how connected people are, but like I said, like I truly have no idea about the actual concerns at hand, and I was not able to get any information about it, which kind of therein lies the cornerstone.
Why are
of the
you
legality
going to
situation.
court for all this? Like, can you?
Yeah, if
what
you
would
don't
happen
know
if you just
why
let go?
you were fired, why are you pursuing legal action?
Because they attempted to terminate me with cause, which of course meaning there's no severance payments or any payments that were owed, and I just myself and my representation just don't see that that's a valid with cause situation. So that kind of lies the problem.
Well, how would you know? I thought you just told us you don't know what the situation is.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever they think that the situation is they think is terms with cause, but I have no idea. And just knowing myself and my conducting myself day to day, I know that there's nothing earth-shattering to find.
But how are you paying these legal bills on top of paying rent with no income?
I've exhausted all my savings and then have accepted some personal loans from family over the last month.
Oh, gosh.
George, I don't know what you think. Ryan, if I'm you, I tell the lawyer today, as soon as I hang up with us, I call the lawyer and go, hey, Sparky, I'm out. This isn't worth fighting. Because I just don't think it is. This seems like a recipe for you just spending more and more.
Yeah, what happens when you're
money.
$40,000 in the hole in legal bills and you don't even win the case?
Right.
What's the severance payment that you think you're owed?
On our best day, it's about $35,000.
I'm guessing you'll spend that in legal bills.
Likely, but there's part of it that's worked into them covering my legal bills, so I'd likely spend it to get out of debt if I were successful.
Oh, boy. This feels like a Hail Mary. I mean, you might as well be playing the lottery.
Yeah. If your lawyer is that convicted about it.
And it's not going to help with your future employment. It's not going to take long before they go, oh, this guy's suing his former hospitality employer. Let's not get in the mix with him.
I'm sticking with what I said. I would drop this whole case and let's move forward in life. $20,000 for somebody of your ability, as George pointed out.
If this was like a $500,000 case, I might go, all right. And if you had the money to actually pay the legal bills, but the juice ain't worth the squeeze on this one. As my friend Ken would say.
And as you would say, for that reason, I'm out. So I would call the lawyer and get out of this deal.
And Ryan, I know it's not fun. I think you need to go downgrade an apartment and maybe get a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You can't pay $50,000 in rent a year and survive this.
Yeah, I applied to probably 50 apartments when I first moved out here, and this was one of 2 that got back to me, so the market's pretty saturated.
Well, again, see, when I hear somebody say that, it's coming up with an excuse as to why you got to keep overpaying. And George is right. This is where you start to go, I'm going to look for anybody who's got an apartment over top of their garage. I don't know if they do that in Canada. That may be weird to you folks. It's pretty normal here. But I'm looking for any scenario that I can. And where there's a will, there's a way, my friend. And I think you've accepted a lot. And I think it's time for you to stop letting life happen to you, and you need to start happening to your life today. And in the hospitality industry, that's a high turnover industry. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, then go frickin' show up somewhere and go, I'm a former GM. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? Like, walk in a suit. Like they could put you on a shift right now. I mean, this is the urgency that I think you need. I think you're just kind of a little bit like, I mean, you're Eeyore and I want to see Tigger. Do you know who that is?
They have that in Canada? Okay.
I don't know. I didn't know if Winnie the Pooh went north of the border, but, I think so, yeah.
And Ryan, the other side of this is your housing is out of control.
It's
I know
too much.
It's a Canadian problem, I understand, but you can't be bringing home $5,000 or $6,000 and be paying $4,000 in housing expenses. You're never going to make any progress paying off debt, building wealth, or otherwise. So that's the next thing to face once you get some income coming in, is going, I got to figure this out. And if that means you get 2 roommates, how old are you?
27.
Great.
Yeah.
I had roommates up until I was married, and it's you will survive, and it'll help prepare you for marriage.
Yeah. Really?
Really?
Huh.
You got to deal with other people's junk everywhere.
Oh, I see.
You know?
I have no experience where Stacy dealt with any of my junk. It was dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. You were the perpetrator, the instigator.
100%. Yeah, that gets fixed pretty quickly. I don't know. So anyway, interesting stuff there.
Ryan, I'm sorry, man, but we got to get some mojo and get to work ASAP. Even if it's doing side hustles, even if it's moving further out.
Yeah,
we got to make some
2, 3, 4 jobs right now. Like, we're not sitting around. And get rid of the lawyer. I wish I had a judge's robe and one of those old English wigs, and I'd go case dismissed. And
he loves a wig.
I do love a good wig. This is the Ramsey Show.
I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I have taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like, when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like, it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get, because it's inexpensive. Zander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance, and we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like, there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much, because Zander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. It costs us stinking pizza.
There really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Zander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Zander.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. Akron, Ohio is where we're going to go next, and Mike joins us there. Mike, how can we help?
Hi, yeah. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
You bet. What's up?
So I'll just kind of dive into it. My wife and I, so I'm the single income earner for the 2 of us, and we've got a baby on the way.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, it's our first one. So she's due here at the end of July, and I work about 45 minutes away, about a 45, 50-minute commute, which hasn't bothered me until the closer we get to our daughter being born. It started bothering me more and more. So we've got a lot of manufacturing. I'm a tool and die maker and CNC machinist, and we've got a lot of industry around us. And I kind of looked around and had an interview that went really, really well, and they made me a pretty good offer. But it's a little scary, considering we've got our daughter is almost here. And so a job change is a little scary, but it was a pretty good offer, and we're trying to decide what to do, and just figured you guys are a third party.
All right. We're very excited about this. What is the offer? Is it better, the same financially? Give me the contrast here.
Right. So right now, I make $29, just a couple cents over $29 an hour. And our insurance is not bad. It's a high deductible, but they, match a little bit for an HSA. So it's a $6,000 deductible, and they give 2 weeks vacation right now, and then also 401k is at 4% if you put in
All right.
5.
Now give me the new offer.
The new offer, so they did a probationary period of 28, and because it's different, a little bit different machines. So he said as long as I get the proficiency, then they'll definitely bump me back up to 29.50, and then anything beyond that is at annual review. They also they're going to give me a sign-on bonus of $4,000 to cover all the COBRA insurance coverage, so that I don't lose my current insurance before theirs kicks in.
Great.
They also said that it's perfectly fine to take my 2 weeks vacation for my daughter being born, and then it would renew January 1st. So I'm not stuck going through the winter and all year to get that vacation back.
Great.
And their retirement is 6% match. And, what was the last bit?
Well, Mike, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in and remind me if the last bit jumps in, but you're scared. So the question becomes, whenever I coach anybody that's dealing with fear, the goal is to find out if the fear is telling them the truth and protecting them. In other words, if I get close to a cliff and I start to feel a pang of fear in my chest, is fear telling me the truth that I could fall over and die, or is fear lying to me and holding me back from great excitement? What's the answer, Mike?
Right. So
what's the answer?
Basically,
what's the answer?
The thing that I'm not entirely sure. The thing that I'm afraid of is, my daughter is, is my first priority here.
No.
So
what's that? Are you afraid that you're going to get over there and not learn how to work this new machine, and they're going to go, Mike's an idiot, and we made a horrible choice, and we're going to fire Mike?
No, not
are
at
you
all,
afraid?
Actually. I'm pretty confident in my abilities. I think that I'll succeed there.
Then what are you afraid of?
Not sure. It's just unknown. It's kind of that devil you know versus the devil you don't kind of thing.
Okay, there's the answer. Congratulations, Mike. That's the answer.
Yeah.
But by the way, going back to my little analogy, if fear is telling me the truth and protecting me, I listen to it. But if fear is lying to me and potentially holding me back, I don't listen to it. And in this situation, fear is lying to you. And so we're not going to let it hold us back. What you are afraid of is, I've never worked for this company before. But you're also afraid that could turn into something bad and it not work out, and all of a sudden I can't provide for baby girl.
Yes.
But I know that's why you keep bringing her up. But see, here's the deal. What would have to be true for you to lose this new job? You need to make a list. I'm not going to make you do it on the air.
Right.
But let's make a list today. What would have to be true? Okay, I'd have to not show up for work repeatedly and piss my manager off on a regular basis on purpose. I would have to run the machine into a coworker and break their leg in 80 places. I mean, start making a list of all of the things that would have to happen for this not to work out. And then after you make the list, look at it and go, what are the chances of those things happening, George? And I think that's where we go.
On paper, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. And what are you saving on your commute time? What's the new commute?
It would be about 15, 20 minutes. So
so you just saved an hour each day.
Yeah, because you're going. Are you going 45 minutes each way?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
45 minutes.
So you just gained 200 hours a year back in your life to be with your baby girl, to help out your wife.
Great call,
So
George.
I'm like, this is worth it. No matter what, but you're also moving financially, no gap in income. You're making the same money pretty much. You're also having no gap in insurance. And so all the boxes are checked. I think the change is just scary and hard, and it's going to be a learning curve, becoming a dad, getting a new job, and it's a lot. I think it's okay to admit this is going to be a pretty tough season. But it's also going to be one filled with joy and new things, and embrace that.
Yeah. The toughest thing about your future, my friend, is actually not learning this new job. It's learning how to operate this new machine with no sleep.
There it is.
No kidding.
I mean, the new job is going to be a breeze for a guy like you. The new baby, welcome to fatherhood. George, you want to tell him what
I'm 9 months into it, and I'm very tired.
What's the hardest part for you, George? Encourage him a little bit.
I think it's like a mental. It's a way more mental and emotional than working a normal job. And so my wife now stays at home, and I'm like, God bless, because an hour of just taking care of screaming baby, the blowouts, all of that.
Yeah.
But then she smiles, and you're like, this is all worth it. Nothing
100%
matters except for
worth
this
every
little
bit of
girl.
it.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
it's a beautiful adventure, my friend. I'm looking forward to it for you.
Yeah. Mike, you're a good guy. There's no way you're going to blow this. Take the job. Take the job today. But I want our audience to get this. We all deal with fear. We all deal with doubt. George and I do. Let me tell you something. Fear and doubt, nasty little cousins. They hang out on one shoulder and one on the other. And fear, by the way, George, is just I'm worried that something bad will happen if I move forward. That's what we just dealt with Mike. That's what fear is. I've got an opportunity to move forward, and I'm afraid if I do, something bad will happen. Doubt is a little different. Doubt is I don't believe that anything good will happen if I move forward. So they're very interesting. They're a little bit different, but they kind of hang out together. And they tend to whisper, and then they gang up on us, and they start shouting at us. And when you get in a situation like that, and by the way, this plays to your money. This plays to everything. Listen, some of you are going, this Dave plan, this thing is hard, right? And you start coming up with some fear. You start coming up with some doubt. And in this process, I have learned in my own journey to put fear and doubt on the witness stand, George, and just say, okay, this is what fear is saying. This is what doubt is saying. I'm going to put on the witness stand, and I'm going to see if there's any evidence that they're telling me the truth. And let me tell you something. If you can learn that process, it's a simple little hack, you'll find that you can overcome fear and doubt. And one other encouragement. The only people, George, that experience fear and doubt are people that are wanting to do something good or are actually moving forward to do something good in their life.
The man in the arena.
Yeah, people that are sitting on the bleachers of life, they don't experience fear and doubt. They're just, elbow deep in a bag of popcorn commenting on everybody else's life. And they don't know what fear and doubt is because they're just sitting there watching everybody else. And so I want to encourage you, if you're struggling with fear and doubt, that's because you're thinking about doing something or you're in the process of doing something.
And I like that. No one lies to ourselves as much as we lie to ourselves.
Ooh, good one.
Isn't that wild?
Well, the person we listen to the most is us.
This guy who's got two thumbs.
I need to listen to you more.
I appreciate that, Ken. I need to listen to you more. You need to get out of your own head. That's what having great friends is for. We're basically the friends that you maybe what you wish you had. I don't know.
That's true, and we'd like to be your friend. It's simple. 888-825-5225. I'll be your friend. George will fake it, but I'll be your friend. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Coming to you live, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life, win with your money, win in your work, and win with your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman. He is George Kamel, our money guru and expert. I'll weigh in on some of that. And how about some people out there, George, you were telling me during the break. They're struggling. They're not making the money they want to make. Maybe they feel they've been passed over. Maybe they've hit their lid. Maybe they feel like they're in an industry or a job where they're just not going to be able to make the money they want. Those kind of calls.
Well, I get a lot of comments
those
and DMs,
are my specialties.
and people are going, I don't understand the numbers you're saying. I make 30 or 40. How do people make 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 plus? Yeah. And we get these questions all the time, and we can show you if you're looking to
That's what I love to do.
Get more education to make more money. Ken can help with that. If you're thinking, should I move because my commute's too long? We took a call about that last hour.
Right.
All of that plays into your real life. And so call us up with that.
If you've got a question about how you can make more money, that's what I'm here for. And George has got some good thoughts on that too. So it's a pretty good combo. Making more money, keeping more money. That's what we are.
Growing that money that you make.
Oh, I forgot
That's a piece of it.
That's you too.
Making the most of your money. Okay. That's what I help with.
Now you're bragging. It's
braggadocious.
That's nice. Let's go to Micah in Detroit. Micah, how can we help?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Oh, we're having fun. What's going on?
Not too much. I've been listening to you guys for a few months. Unfortunately, I was allowed to make financial decisions before I started listening to you guys, so I'm coming to you.
It's usually how it goes. You make the mistakes and you go, I should probably not do this. Let me go find a show.
No judgment, though.
Exactly. I appreciate that. So my situation, I last year went into a fitness studio, opened up a gym with a friend of mine, and he agreed to cover the finances on the gym. And I agreed that I would be the sweat equity, the person working the grounds. And so his financial decision was to take out a personal loan to fund this gym, which at the time I didn't really know too much about. So I was just like, sure, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And I agreed to kind of let that loan be a part of our business's like monthly expenses. So essentially, like we were splitting the cost of it with the gym revenue. Since we haven't made a profit on this gym yet, like all the money continues to come out of his pocket to cover the business loan or the personal loan each month. And he wants that once we start making a profit, that I would, cede some of the profits to him to pay back the losses that were supposed to be a part of the expenses, which I feel like doesn't really take into account the sweat equity that I put in and the amount that has really impacted my family financially. And so kind of the question I have right now is, do I stay without pay, working the hours on this thing and trying to find a way for it to profit, and then I'll figure out how to make ends meet with whatever he's put in because of that personal loan.
No. I'm not even going to wait for the rest of that sentence. That's a horrible idea.
I agree.
Okay.
So how much money are we talking?
So it's a $250,000 personal loan. He got 15% interest on it.
Goodness gracious.
So right. I've learned how terrible that is.
Has the balance grown?
Or you mean like how much has to be owed on it?
Yeah, at 15% interest, has it grown? Is it now 260, 270?
So I guess now it is officially back to, it's finally under 250,000. But we've been paying it back since January of 2023. So, about $4,800 a month comes out to pay that thing. So,
and you guys, what's the revenue of the gym?
We're about $20,000 right now per month.
And are you getting paid at all? I thought I heard you say you're not being paid.
I don't get paid. I don't get paid a penny from it.
Does he get paid?
No, because any margin that we have, our expenses are a little bit more, mainly because of the loan is the thing that keeps us that we haven't broken even yet. So we'll put money into it based off of what that difference is.
So your expenses are how much per month, including the debt, all overhead, labor?
Yeah, including the loan, it's 23 to 24,000 a month, depending on the hours the coaches work.
What is the solution here? I mean, you have to be making 30, 40K a month just to pay yourselves and cover the expenses.
Right. So I mean, the gym. It's still growing in revenue, not as fast as we want to. We kind of, that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out. I mean, the solutions on the gym itself in terms of making revenue is something that we have kind of support and different mentors from the gym franchise that help us out. The solution on the personal problems with it are tough because I don't really bring any money home to my family.
Yeah. How are you living?
Yeah.
Is your wife working full time?
She does now. She had a remote job that she really likes, and for me, I usually after my gym hours will just drive Uber, to try to make some money for our family.
Is your wife not very angry at this whole situation that you put your family in? She's thankfully very supportive. Our marriage is really good, but I think both of us are pretty mad at the situation that I put us in.
Yeah,
because even if let's say you closed up shop today, you guys still owe $250,000 together.
Exactly.
So you still owe $125 just to walk away from this thing.
Well, I've got a technical question there. Your business partner is the one that took out the loan. Is your name on this?
Nope.
So your name is not on this deal.
Correct. Yeah.
And this was the deal going in. He was going to do the financing, and you were going to do the sweat equity, which is, I'm guessing, you're running the gym, right?
Yes.
So it sounds like he was sort of the investor here who took on the risk financially to make this happen. Now, he could come after you in court and fight you forever to get this money back, but legally...
Can he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could say this was a business partnership.
Wait a second. Did you sign anything?
We have a partnership agreement. It's a very poorly written partnership agreement. So he had one of his lawyers that kind of mustered it up together that we signed and said that we were both responsible for the losses on the gym if ever it had to close and we didn't have any. It never defined, or I've had someone look at it. They said it never defined any losses, just as losses, which he defines as financial losses. I would define as the losses I've taken because of the fact that I've worked hours without.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I appreciate what you're saying, George. Step in here if I'm saying the wrong thing or you disagree. I'm not worried about the legal piece of this. I'm worried about the financial for you, and you've already put in enough sweat equity. This thing sounds like it went from a dream to a nightmare pretty quickly. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like 6 months from now you're paying yourselves and this debt's getting knocked out.
Yeah, this is the problem with starting a business like this. It is a full-blown risk, and the only way to win in this is you get more people that are paying to be a part of this gym, and it's not worth you starving emotionally, because that's what this is. Thank God your wife's got a good job, but this time to fold, man.
And there's 2 lessons here for folks listening. Number 1, we never recommend partnerships.
Yep.
It's the only kind of ship that usually sinks. And then number 2, we never recommend starting a business by using debt. And so 2 hard lessons to learn here. The only way to try to make this happen is stick it out for a little while longer and see if you can get revenues up and expenses down. Well, that's how profits are created.
I'm only okay with that if, Micah, you are putting less sweat in there. Right? So maybe you're only spending 5 hours a day at the gym and you're spending, I don't know. You got to make some more money.
I think you guys need to reassess and have a hard conversation about what the future of this looks like.
I'd want out of this partnership.
I would be getting out. Sorry, man.
Man, I need to do some push-ups. That was a very stressful call. No pun intended. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Thrilled to have you. 888-825-5225. I'm Coleman George Kamel joins me. Let's go to Davenport, Iowa, where we join Brooke. Brooke, how can we help today?
Hi. I have a question about getting my husband and I on the same page. So I've been running the finances for our household ever since we got married. We've been married for 5 years, coming up in July. And we went through financial peace, and I think we went through all 9 classes at a church, and he seemed to be on board. We did our budgeting for a little bit together, and then we just kind of, he didn't like the way I was budgeting because I was extremely detailed and had a million different categories, and he just wasn't really excited about it. So now he just doesn't even want to look at the budget. He doesn't, it just stresses him out. What he wants to know is what's coming out for bills, what's coming out for spending, and that's it.
Well, so you're the nerd. He's a little more free spirit. He doesn't want to dig into the details. That's okay. That's a normal marriage.
Yeah.
So it's not about being on the same page about, do you like my budget line item? It's, are we on the same page about where we're going financially?
Which
and
feels
how we're
like he is, isn't he, Brooke?
Yeah, I would say so. He does want to pay off debt. We've had some personal loans for like family that we've had for a while, like $1,000 of that. And I want to get those knocked out. Like we've had them since we've been married.
Yeah, I get it. But here's what I'm hearing. Let me dive back in here. It feels like you sat down with him and you had 67 tabs on the spreadsheet and multiple columns attached to columns, and his brain just went and he was like, I can't even. Is that what happened?
Yes.
So this is not about is he on the same page with you. It's that his brain is kind of wired like mine, and your brain is wired like George's. And so you present that to George, and George gets giddy. You present that to me, and I'm just saying the same thing. I'm like, nope, I'm going to be out here watching sports. And I think what I heard you say is that your husband said, just tell me what's coming in, what's going out. I'm good with the budget. And if there's a couple things we need to talk about, present those to him one by one. Like sit down with him and forget the spreadsheet and just say, hey, here's what I'm suggesting we do on our budget every month for groceries. And it's really not going to affect the food we eat. He's going to go, great. You know what I mean? Like keep it high level, but you do the nerdy part. But as long as he has buy-in to the overall numbers, I think I'm okay with it, George. Am I missing something?
Yeah, he doesn't have to live in these line items and numbers. He just has to make sure, hey, before I go buy the groceries, I'm going to check the EveryDollar budget to see, do we have the money? So simplify it for him. Are you guys using EveryDollar right now?
No, I have another app that is like an envelope system. So it's very similar, but it's not the exact same.
Okay. Does he have this on his phone?
He does.
Okay. So he's got the login. He's signed in. He can see it all. Is it easily laid out?
Again, it's just all those categories that really.
Well,
really
do you have too many categories? Are you splitting this up in a way that is overwhelming?
I probably have 18 categories.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, that sounds reasonable when you lay out what everything, the electricity bills, a water bill,
right,
groceries, eating out, insurance bills. Ken is looking at me like I got 14 eyes right now, Brooke. So I think this is your husband.
This is actually playing out in real time. I think 18's too many.
Okay.
I'm wrong.
I think it's accurate.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I probably have that or more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to simplify it, but
because you could lay out subscriptions and have them all, or some people list out Netflix is this much, Hulu's this much, and so when you add up everything in your life, there's more than 18 expenses.
All right. I'm backing off. This is a great example.
Ken.
I know I'm getting the look from Kelly as well. I'm wrong, America, and I have no problem being wrong. It's where I usually live.
So,
all right.
What is the big conversation right now? When he comes to you and says, "Listen, I can't do this," what is he really saying?
I'm not sure. Again, I tried to simplify it, and then he just never looked at it, and when we would do our budget meetings, he just kind of sit there. Okay, that sounds good, and I'm like, well, do you want to change anything? No. I'm like, okay.
He has to change something. A part of the budget committee meeting is that the free spirit has to get involved and have a say. Because if he has some buy-in and he has some skin in the game, he'll be more likely to pay attention to it. So you have to force that's part of the job of the free spirit is they have to have a vote.
All right, let me speak on behalf of. Can I speak on behalf of all free spirits?
Do it.
All right. I think you need to pick a couple of things that he actually really naturally cares about. So let's ask, what are some things that he spends money on that he enjoys, Brooke?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, now we have a real marriage problem here. You don't know what your husband likes to spend money on?
I mean, we've had our spending down to, we had at first at $10 a week. Now he has $15. And so whenever he does spend his money, it's normally at a gas station for like snacks or something. So.
Okay.
He's a man of simple pleasures.
I get it.
He's just snap into a Slim Jim and a Red Bull and he's good to go.
Okay, all right. So he has no hobbies at all? He doesn't spend money on hobbies?
No.
Okay. Well, I backed myself into a corner on this little example. Okay, so let's take the snacks. That falls under eating out, right, George? Restaurants?
Yeah, what is your line item for those kinds of things?
For eating out, we have $25 a week. We normally go out on Saturday nights as a family.
Okay. Is this connected to your bank account? Do the transactions just pop up and you drag them?
It's not connected to a bank account, but I do connect. Like I do it myself. I do it manually.
Okay, there's one reason he's not going to go enter the stuff manually. So what are you really asking of him here?
What am I asking?
Yeah, what are you asking of him to do on a daily or weekly basis that will keep you guys on track?
I don't know. I think I probably just want the emotional support more than anything. I want to make sure that I'm making the right decisions.
So
and
this
I
has
don't
nothing
know
to
if
do
I am.
with the actual tactics of the budget. You just don't feel like he's bought in emotionally. And I think you guys need to have a new conversation where you share your feelings. Here's how I'm feeling. How are you feeling? And he's going to say, listen, truly, I just don't care as much about this as you do.
But there's not a whole lot to care about, too.
You're tracking the transactions.
You guys are living really tight right now trying to get out of debt. You see what I'm saying? Like the guy's most exciting line item is if he gets a Diet Dr. Pepper and a Slim Jim.
We need to live a little more. What are your actual goals? Are you guys trying to get out of debt right now?
Yeah, so we have about $17,000 in debt.
What kind of debt?
So I have it our personal loan between people that we owe is $1,000, medical $4,000, credit card $3,600, and our vehicle, our van, $8,000.
Okay, and he's bought in that we're going to get out of debt aggressively?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that to me is the major piece. The actual, how the budget gets laid out and the transactions, it's okay if he's not sitting there, as involved as you are.
Yeah, really quick question here. Is he spending money that you did not budget and you're going, hey?
Is he blowing the budget? Is he blowing it up?
Occasionally. He bought $200 boots the other month, and I had not budgeted for that, so we had to catch that up.
And he didn't say, hey, can I buy these boots? He didn't have a conversation about it?
We talked about it, and what happened was his old boots completely, I think the sole came off or something, so it was something we had to get.
No, you didn't. I am Mr. Resoling shoes. Am I not, George?
Can keep a shoe alive longer than it should be alive.
I should make you ship those boots to me. I'll pay for the soles, ship them back to you with some shoe polish. The guy will know what hit him and return the other boots. Here's what's going on. This whole conversation changed. You've been telling George and I that he's basically on board and he just doesn't like the budget process, but he's not on board. If he's guilting you into $200 boot purchase, that's a different story. When you guys are saving $25 to go out to eat as a family, I don't even know how you do that. I guess it is Iowa, but still.
Oh, boy. Well, how about this, Brooke? Try out EveryDollar Premium. I'll gift it to you. Would you try it with him?
That has to happen.
Yeah. Maybe that'll trick his brain, and it's so much prettier than probably the budget you're using. It's simple to plan spending, track your expenses, save for what matters most to you. It's going to help you keep a pulse, get him on board. So check out EveryDollar for free, everyone listening, in the App Store or Google Play. And Brooke, because I like you, you're going to get EveryDollar Premium. Hang on the line. Christian will pick up, and we'll get that over to you.
By the way, could have resold those boots. I'm going to say $40. Some shoe polish will cost you $5.
$45. You got a brand new pair of boots.
Brand new boots, and I'm not exaggerating. I should do a video on the YouTube channel, how to refurbish your boots for George.
I'd watch it.
This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. The phone number is 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. George, what are you hearing about the real estate market these days?
Oh, boy. Well, there's sort of a standstill here. People are waiting with bated breath on the sidelines, hoping the Fed fixes the interest rates. But as we know,
happen.
If the interest rates shoot down, home values are going to spike up. And so it doesn't solve a lot of problems for the housing market. And so we always tell people, buy when you're financially ready. Marry the house, date the rate.
Love that. Well, the best way to do that, by the way, is to use our Ramsey Trusted program to find a real estate agent that you can trust. Who's going to help you make a really good decision based on the financial formulas that we teach here at Ramsey Solutions. So we've got just an unbelievable army of top agents in your area. All you got to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/agent and interview some people. Talk to multiple agents and make sure you got a good connection with them. These Ramsey Trusted real estate agents have years of experience and are going to help you make good decisions on pricing, marketing, choosing the right offer. So this is also if you want to sell your house. So do it with a really, really trusted agent. RamseySolutions.com/agent. All right, let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina, where David is joining us. David, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the call. It's a privilege to speak to you today.
Yeah.
All right. My wife and I are in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. We both have really good full-time white-collar jobs that we love, making good money. And we launched our second side hustle last year that has just been growing incredibly fast. We're going to double sales this year from last year. And I guess my question is, we're rolling, and we've been rolling for about 18 months now, 100% of our small business profits back into the business, because we're able to live off of our full-time income from our day jobs. When is the right time to start pulling out profits to hack away at our mortgage versus continuing to grow the business at, like I said, a pretty aggressive rate. It feels like it's not a math problem, but I know, emotionally it's hard to make this decision.
Well, the IRS is going to consider all of this income. So what is your total household income with the side hustle?
So last year, household income was $310 with the side hustle.
Amazing.
This year, it's going to be closer to $410 because the business has doubled.
Woo! Way to go. What is the business?
It's an online retail store. It's a kind of a niche hobby similar to paintball called Airsoft. I just found some products that I'm able to import, and I've kind of customized them, selling them to the U.S. market, getting a really good margin, and then every penny we make, we're rolling back into new products to expand the offering, essentially. So
wow.
I have more ideas than capital, so rolling money back in to grow is really easy, but at some point I feel like we need to start getting some value for our nights and weekends we've been putting away.
Yeah, I would definitely, strip a portion of this away and go, this is going to be income that we're going to use to pay off the house, to invest more, to max out. I mean, you guys have already able to and hopefully are maxing out all of your retirement options, right?
We are, yes.
Okay, so you got the 401ks if you have those, backdoor Roth IRAs, maxing out an HSA if you have access to a health savings account.
We are, yes, sir.
And then beyond that, I would be attacking the house. So what if we said, hey, every 30% of our side hustle revenue we're going to use to attack the mortgage, and just put a number on it that you guys agree on?
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
What's left on the mortgage?
228.
I think this thing is gone in the next 12 months. Is that fair?
That would be 12 to 13K a month. Oh, I don't know. It's possible. That would be tight, though. If we did 10K a month, that would be 18 months to pay it off. I haven't done the math on 1 year payoff, but that would be tight, yeah.
We'll set a goal and say 10K a month, and so on top of our normal income from our full-time jobs, we're going to pull whatever we need to hit that 10K goal, and that will set you guys on a path to where you don't have a flat tire, where you're doing multiple things at once. I want you also to give more and to spend some of this money. It doesn't always have to be about the investing or pay down goal. And just see where this goes. Is this something you want to do full time one day?
Yeah, that was kind of the follow up question. When do we get our nights and weekends back? Is there a?
If this is something you can teach someone else to do, hire a team member.
Yeah,
to run the online store, and you pay. If this thing can make $200,000 a year, and you pay someone $75,000 a year to run it, it's still a good deal for you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So if it's something you want to get your time back, I would hire someone else to do it if it's not something you're going to go jump and do full time instead of your day job. Ken, what do you think about this? When is the time to... It doesn't sound like you want to take this to be your 40-hour-a-week job. You like doing this as a side hustle. You'd rather someone else run it and you guys reap some benefit.
Is that correct?
I think I'd rather do this. I'm just a little anxious about the risk.
Okay, so what do you think the risk is? What's the biggest risk that you're kind of worried about?
I think the biggest risk would be everything is coming from the region of Taiwan and China. That would be complete. My business would close tomorrow if we went to war or if there was any sort of global crisis versus my day job is stable.
Okay, so
little upside, but
right.
Stable.
All right, so that's legit, but that's kind of tied to this thing. There's never a time where that risk isn't going to be there. Fair?
Yeah. Correct.
Could you find a different manufacturer and start to go, hey, this would be a backup option if things blew up with this area? I could get manufacturing done here. It's going to be XYZ more expensive. It would cut into our margins a little bit, but we could still make it work.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We've been trying to expand our manufacturing. So we are in 3 countries now, but all of them are in that region from a cost perspective. So that's a good point. Even having a small operation somewhere else that we could ramp up in an emergency situation would be very valuable.
So I'm glad we went down this road, George, because that's my answer to your question. What do I think about what I think you've got to have a backup plan before you leave the day job, because or let me say this. If you can quickly get a backup plan in place, because you need a backup plan. It's the idea, not an idea, the idea. I think you are putting yourself in dire straits to have all of your manufacturing coming from that part of the world. That is
I don't think that's alarmist in any way. I pay attention to this stuff all the time, and everything I'm reading, I think you have a legitimate concern there. And I think if we learned anything, small businesses that rely on manufacturing, if we learned anything about the pandemic, it is good business to try to figure out a way to get stuff manufactured in the U.S. Does it cost more? Yes. But is it more stable in the long run? I would say yes to that. And so I think that is the idea, because I think that's the biggest risk to your business, whether you're working full-time in it or you're in the day job, dream job scenario, which is where you're at now, correct?
Yeah. Yep. That's.
But
really
I would say one other thing. I always give this advice. This risk needs to be taken care of. But I would be comfortable, if I were you, moving from the day job to the dream job if you have 12 months of your salary in retained earnings sitting in the bank.
Mm. Yeah.
So having a big cash position and getting your mortgage paid off is going to reduce your risk.
That also helps.
Lowers your expenses.
So maybe I'm patient, George. Maybe I pay the mortgage off, then get retained earnings earmarked with 12 months of David's salary. You see what I'm going with? See what I'm doing that, David? I want you having your salary totally in the bank so that we got 12 months and hopefully you don't have to use it. But it's there.
And then is the business sustainable? Does it continue to grow? Is it shrinking based on market demand and the economy? You'll learn a lot over the next year or two as you continue down that path.
Yeah, we're still really young, so that's a really good advice, because we don't need to rush into this, and that time building up a nest egg would be beneficial from us understanding where we're at as well. Yeah, that's really wise.
Talking about sleeping well at night as you move from, listen, you don't want the dream to ever become a nightmare. And when there's so much pressure just to provide for you on a business, it just changes everything. So I like the position you're in. I'd wait to get the house paid off. I'd wait to get the retained earnings up to a point where you had your salary, and I would get a manufacturing fix in the books. And I think if you do that, George and David, I think I feel really good about moving over full time.
Amazing. It's an inspiring story, though.
Safety first. Put a helmet on, right? Don't move. Quick break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. George Kamel joins me. The phone number is 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Our scripture of the day comes from Psalm 25:21. May integrity and uprightness protect me, because my hope, Lord, is in you. Our quote of the day from Abraham Lincoln. George, he was one of our former presidents.
I've heard of him.
16th president.
I saw a tweet about him the other day.
Mm-hmm. You have to do your own growing, no matter how tall your grandfather was.
Oh, I like that. And Abe was a tall fella.
He was.
Wonder how tall his grandfather was. That begs the question.
It's a very good question. You can look at both of us and tell that our grandfathers weren't tall.
Stout.
Stout people?
They were stout folks.
Oh, it's good to be with you, my friend. All right, let's go to Virginia, not to be confused with where she's from, Reno. All right, Virginia, how can we help?
Hi. Thanks for answering my question,
You bet.
hopefully. My husband recently passed away about 2 months ago.
Oh, my gosh. What happened?
He actually got cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How old was he?
Thank you. Unfortunately, he was only 40.
Oh, my goodness, Virginia.
Oh,
that's heartbreaking.
Wow.
Well, how recent was this?
He passed a little over 2 months ago.
Oh, how have you been doing? Do you have good support, community?
Yeah, my children, I've been really lucky. My children are very supportive, and my husband and me had some financial plans set in place. So, I'm on the fortunate side of the situation afterwards. So I'm very lucky.
Wow.
We did plan for, bad things.
Yeah. How can we help today?
Yeah.
Well, so I don't have very much debt. I only have student loan in my name, but I did get in my opinion, it's a substantial life insurance. But I'm just confused about what I should do going forward. If I should put in get a home because currently I'm a renter, or if I should invest it. I'm not really sure which to do. I don't make a lot of money, but I'm able to keep my current bills are handled. I make enough to cover, my cost of living. So I don't really need this money to pay bills or anything. So I just want to make the best choices with it.
Can you run the numbers for us? So tell us about the cost of the amount of the student loan and then the life insurance payoff.
Okay, so the life insurance is $125,000, which I've already received. I have not spent any of it. Okay. And then I have a $36,000 student loan.
And what is your income?
My income right now, my income has not been substantial for the last few years because my husband made decent money and we were able to just live on his money. We have 4 children. They're all older. 3 are adults and 1 under age 18. So I'm sorry. I've lost track of what I was talking about.
I was just curious what your income is or what you think it can be.
My income is at about $35,000 to $40,000, but that's going to be a lot more when I start, putting myself toward my business a little more. I'm a QuickBooks bookkeeper. I do small business.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of doing this part-time?
I've been doing it part-time, but my plan is
go full-time
as soon as I get things a little more organized and calm.
All right. Do you have any savings?
I will be working full-time. We used the savings when he was sick. So we had enough savings to pay the rent and the bills for about 6 months. And that will be covered until the end of the summer.
So how much do you have right now in the bank?
In the bank, about $8,000. Well, I have the $125,000 split between 2 accounts, but I have about $8,000 other than that.
Okay. So first things first, I would get rid of the student loan debt. Knock that out. Then leave enough to have 6 months in your emergency fund of expenses. So add up what your expenses are for a month. Let's say it's $4,000. Well, then we need $24,000 in that savings account protecting us from life so that we never go into debt again. So if we do that, you got 125 plus 8, right?
Yes.
Minus your student loans, which is 36. That leaves you with 97. And let's call it 25 for your fully funded emergency fund. That leaves you with 72,000 to play with. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
That could be, if I were in your shoes, I would probably want to get into a home and have a fixed expense versus rent continuing to go up, and then work on paying off that house over time. So I would.
Right.
The point of life insurance is to replace income if someone were to pass away. Now, in this case, he truly didn't have enough. We recommend 10 to 12 times their annual income.
Right.
So this money is not going to really replace his income, because the point is you would invest that money, it would create a return, and from that return you could pull from to, replace the income. So in this case, you may be better off getting rid of the debt, basically getting yourself in a better financial position and using your own income to begin investing. Because you're younger, you have time to do that.
Okay.
How old are you?
My only concern, I'm 45.
Okay.
My only concern with that is the housing market where I live is really bad. For an average house, it's about $550,000.
Okay.
And I can't justify not only not buying that, like I'm 2 people, 3 people right now.
Well, soon you'll be down to 1. Will it just be you in a few years?
Yeah, it'll just be me.
So why don't we just keep this money saved, the 72, in a high-yield savings account, and you can check out our friends at Laurel Road. They've partnered with my YouTube channel. They've got 5.15% APY. So your money will at least grow at that rate currently, and it'll keep your money safe, liquid, and it'll be growing for you. And beyond that, keep adding to that with your future income. Because once you're out of debt, you're freed up a student loan payment. So with that, plus keeping your expenses low, use the extra margin to start saving up more for that down payment, and maybe you get a condo further out of your area for $250 or $300 because you don't need all the space.
That's what I was thinking. Right. And I don't want to have all that space either. It's just a lot of cost that I don't need.
Exactly. So you don't have to go buy a $600,000 house just because that's the going, market in your area. So that's what I would do. That's your next few steps, and start to build a life for Virginia and what that looks like.
Okay, great.
And I'm going to send you a copy of Dave's book, Real Estate the Ramsey Way, to help you make the right choice. And that'll be maybe a few years out from now. You'll be a homeowner, and one day that house will be paid off. And I want you to be investing 15% of your income once you get the debt paid off and have the emergency fund. And that's going to allow you to build some serious wealth from 45 to 65. You do 20 years of investing into, if you're a solopreneur, look into a solo 401k or a SEP IRA or even a traditional Roth IRA. You can invest in those regardless of your employment as long as you have income. So fully funding those over time, you're going to be doing just fine, Virginia. And again, I'm so sorry for your loss. This is not how you plan to spend, the next 20 years.
No, it wasn't. Right. It wasn't how we planned. We planned on just stockpiling money for the next 20 years so we could retire a little bit early and, have some time. But,
yeah. Well, like our friend John Deloney would say, we've got to grieve what happened and then create a new picture of what life's going to look like here on out.
We do, yes.
Yeah. Well, we're rooting for you, Virginia. Hang on the line. We're going to get you that resource and stay with it. You've got some cushion, so no need to be panicked, and work on that healing, and then make those big decisions. Never want to make big financial decisions, George, in the shadows of a big loss like this.
Oh, absolutely. And a good reminder for those to get life insurance in place if you have anyone that depends on your income. So if you're married, you got kids, get life insurance in place. Term life is the one you want, 10 to 12 times your annual income. So if you make $100,000, you want $1 million or $1.2 million in coverage. That doesn't mean that's what you pay. You're going to pay a very small portion of that.
Yeah, I think
premiums.
people are shocked at how affordable it is. And then, especially when you start getting kids involved.
Yes.
I just, I remember going, oh boy.
The peace of mind that life insurance gives me is incredible. So go to Zander.com. They are our trusted partner when it comes to all things insurance, especially life insurance. That's who I have mine through.
Me
My
too.
wife Whitney's got mine, got her own policy. And it's not something you don't want to think about, but it takes a few minutes to log on there and get the quote and get it done. But man,
By
peace
the way,
of mind.
little tip I always love to give when we talk about this to guys, prepare for about 6 weeks before that. Get in really good shape as far as your food, your
Oh yeah.
drop some weight.
You want to get
you want to get that cholesterol low to get that premium rate.
Amen.
I worked hard for that, pal.
I can tell.
I immediately went and got a cheeseburger as soon as the blood exam was over. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thanks to Kelly Daniel for keeping us on the air. This is The Ramsey Show.